teams, you know, on this time, Heretics coming off of a loss, BBL coming off of a win. Maybe that's something they can work off of, a momentum here, BBL. They've got to see if they've got a chance on this one. Heretics, though, they've shown they are resilient as ever as they enter this first map. It's BBL on the attack, Heretics on defense, as it looks like we're heading towards this right-hand side of the map straight away.
Yeah, to start things out just very slowly thus far. No trips, actually, over towards that A side. It's only going to be that camera for information, but Kushner, the one to make noise here over vent, so quick into it too. Yeah,
Boo's just so lucky to get out of it on time because both he missed the interaction with Power and Kushner, subsiding the aftershock. And it looks like the A site hit is gonna come in with Heretics holding back, happy for the retake. Against Fnatic, they know the approach is fast, heavy. But against BBL, it's a different story. Let them set up and then they can play the organized play they know how to do.
Trip damage being done here as well. Spike just to be initiated into this situation. Now Kushner to retake, try to maintain the same main control and cut it off on the retakers here for Heretics.
Time is cutting close. And it's got to get a bit nerve-wracking for Heretics here.
Cover going out.
But they're keeping it down to the last second. Paranoia is good, and so is the stun. That's going to deter them for a long time. Pushing through the poison, though. Reans is good for 2. And wait, there's 2. Pints it in, but Brave is going to try and delay it as much as possible. Still 1 remaining elite. All he has to do is delay it. Heretics yet to get onto the spike, and it's taking them so much time. Now only just touched it. Elite out of the smoke, not even able to deal with Boo, and that's going to be first blood heading over to the Heretics.
Very comfortable retake there for Heretics. I mean, you see a difference in the composition that they're running here as well this time around. We have actually the Brimstone coming out. I'm interested to see how that kind of continues to carry forward as the map continues to move forward in that kind of sense. But when you then look over towards BBL, of course, they are running the same composition that we had seen previously, and it'll be a big question as to how they continue to adapt on that, because Split, they haven't necessarily gotten the best results in the past.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, look at the buy already. I think BBL, it's evident that they want to get a good start because they've got a buy in second round. Many teams choose to eco this, but evidently not BBL.
Oh, isolated here, Boo. Right, there is a shrouded step to get out if needed.
Oh, very aggressive from Kushner. Oh, he does get shut down quite instantly. I mean, BBL losers there in a lot of trouble, you might say. Heretics, though, again, very similar to the last time's exchange. I think they noticed Kushner's power with the gun he had. So now we'll be a little bit more cautious about it. Brave's position is sneaky, not quite spotted. Spoke too fast. Boo with a double already, but Elite close angle into CT, doing some damage, but again, Elite, the final remaining player, just like the last one. But again, Heretics repeat history and get 2 rounds consecutive.
That's tough. BBL, they start off on the back foot. Now they're not going to have the economy for the anti-eco that you would be expecting here into round 3, and it's costly. You see some of these ultimates also now starting to creep up here for Heretics. Reans, sure, it's what I think 4, 5 out of the points needed there for that Sky ultimate. But when you're considering the long term, there's going to be more points added to that into this round.
For sure.
And then once BBL are back onto a bye, it's most likely that we're going to see those Seekers coming out as well.
Yeah, that's very fair. And of course, coming into the third round, I think many people, if you're joining in and you're wondering why is Patatek still on the server, it's because Woot, yes, he's still with the team. He's in Berlin right now. He's with the coaches, but obviously they need a little bit more time to, you know, get gelled well together. And yeah, you know, it's a little bit unfortunate for Heretics having to make these mid-season switches, but they kind of, you know, it seems like they find it like a good idea. Definitely risk involved in that though, as BBL lingering with the Sheriffs.
Yeah, just getting pushed back here and there, farming up some of those orbs if possible. A bit worried on the spray. Boo manages to find Brave. Makes it a lot more difficult now for BBL on this attacking side, since that Viper's Wall always laid down for those lurk positions over at A.
I think BBL is one of those teams that, even on Ecos, yeah, they're not one of the best teams in Europe, but on Ecos they can definitely pack a punch. We're talking about aimers here. So it's got to be respected, and you can see Heretics is one of those teams that definitely will respect. Evident. Paradek's positioning off the guiding light. And he's good with 2. And yeah, BBL, that's over. Spike in the middle, Power has to receive it. But yeah, it doesn't seem like Heretics will be challenging it, just letting BBL to walk into them, really.
just really cleaning up this round at the end of the day. But I think that's our opportunity to touch back on towards the story here for Paditech, right? The fact that it is, if you guys didn't end up seeing it actually on the Heretics social, is going to be his last match here right now. Unless, of course, they end up maybe needing a sub. But going forward, he is going to be available for other players to pick him up. He hands off the round on the on the 4K there, but this is important for him. It's his last chance on the big stage to really show what he's got here for any teams looking to make changes later in the season.
He's been really good with this team. I feel like for Paditech, he showed resilience. He showed capabilities of keeping mental high, even on very rough games, high-tier games, even on international events, right? He's had that very strong showing. So it's big shoes to fill for Wook coming in as a rookie.
Definitely. You even saw him coming in, I think, on the walk, and he was holding his chin up high, you know, and very proud to be here. And you can see that he's really trying to maintain that confidence going forward, knowing how important this is to him. But now we're going to see BBL looking to make some space here over towards this A site. Cypher setup has been swapped over, though, for Benji Fishy. That standard setup here on those 8-point tricks.
It's a matter of BBL testing it. Of course, their choice to be on split right now. Bit of a difficult map pool to traverse, right? If you're BBL, haven't had much success on many. And with Heretics, I think quite the opposite.
When you're looking at split as well, sure, the loss, you can say, okay, it was a 10-13 loss against Koi, but Koi's also not one of the top contenders here within the region either. So it doesn't actually say too much in that kind of sense.
Well, Kushina First Blood does open it just a path towards this B site. But the traversal there is optional. They've got other ideas, and it's that A hit maybe looking to circumnavigate those wires, find the other end of it. And now there's only one defending, by the way, it's Miniboo. But if there's anyone to be able to find a 1vx kill, it's going to be Miniboo, isn't it?
Oh, it definitely is. Still nades available here. Oh, this stun could be the difference maker.
But oh, he's low. Still gets away with one, and he's buying time, not the second.
Okay.
Let's ground ourselves for a bit. Brew used from the shadows. He was to the back of the side, didn't even notice. But still, BBL, great start. They've got a 4v2 scenario here. The Heretics, though, need to be a little bit careful.
I feel like this might be just a save or try and get some exit frag situation here for Heretics in a 2v4. Nothing to work with here for Rians.
I mean, they've got money. They're going to go for it. Okay. Good for one. Benji Fishy on a 1v2 now. He's giving off his angle. Two different positions for BBL. They've got to be really good with the timing of it, and it's all that is required as elite. And he's been a superstar the past 2 weeks. I
mean, a must-need round here for BBL as well. It does come close, taking it from a 2v4 down to a 1v2 there. Yeah. It gets tight. And you're also considering the fact that both these teams are also 1-1 right now in their respective groups, right? Both at that third place. This is their opportunity to maintain that spot going forward. And when you're also looking towards BBL, they do have one additional opportunity, being one of those teams in the likes of, I believe it is Group Omega, to be able to get that down.
Yeah.
But, or sorry, Group Alpha. So you have more chances to try and rack up some of those points.
You're playing against teams in Group Omega. That's kind of where the confusion comes in at this first split. But still, it's Bai and the Heretics and Team Heretics. I don't know, I'd be calling the Heretics today, but it's Team Heretics. And they've got another Bai in them, and another reason why they went for the 2v4 last round. But heavy presence here in mid, at least been spotted towards this A site. And it just gives me an inkling here that there might be an opening in mid.
Look how much space that Heretics have now garnered, though, over towards A.
It's just a denying time down to the 1 minute mark. Kushina not quite able to break the trip. But now it seems that BBL want to lean towards this B site. There is a bit of a Cypher setup, but not too many eyes on it.
No, 40 seconds left. You have the Seekers popped already here, looking for the presence. Everyone on BBL gathered towards B. They have to re-clear towards mid with that information being found here by Heretics.
Oh, 3 expended towards mid, and we're down to 30 seconds. This is getting really tight here. Seeker's now enabled. Brave to the site. He's being sprayed upon across the box, and Miniboo eventually shuts his life down. 23 seconds. Oh, they've got this really close, and Heretics know exactly what's going on. 4 players already located all the way into the site. They've got a guarantee of a lurk as well, but it's Miniboo that shuts it down all himself. BBL, yeah, they run into their own trouble there.
Hey, you even see Heretics having a backup plan in that situation. Boo's positioning over towards Vents to cut off the rotation if BBL decided to make that dash over towards the A site, expecting the rotates to have come over towards B already. It's 4-1. BBL economically hurting. And Heretics have been doing well to kind of stagger their ultimates and not use too many. They haven't really felt the pressure from BBL to need it anyways, but...
I mean, they're not the team under pressure here. I feel like they're the favorites. They're kind of chilling. And I love the support between them as well. They just are each other's hype men. Every time that we're in an interview with them, Benji Fishy's crazy. No, Mini Boo's crazy. He's nuts. He's the best KO. And all that. Every time we're on an interview, they just praise each other. It's so cute.
Lots of love.
Still aggression for BBL, even though with lesser weaponry in the middle of the site. Kushner still good for one. Boo's position telegraph. Mini Boo, though, lines up with his brother, and they make clean work of this hold. One's crossed over, though. Brave, what are you capable of here? Not much of a gun that you have. And Reezy, not much of health to his exposal either. Your theft as a guarantee. Heretics not playing around here. Want to lock this down. And are just keeping the two players isolated between them. Reezy just 1 meter forward and he would have been dead.
Yeah, Reezy has a spike here as well. Brave's on an island.
That's brilliant. Brilliant. With a blast pack obscuring movement. Reezy, that is nuts! But not good enough in this one. Paddy Tech at least was there as the guarantee. And that's 5-1 for Heretics.
A bit too close for comfort if I'm going to be like Reezy hitting those shots is mad mechanically, absolutely insane. I know that we've had a lot of eyes on Elite, I think, with his performance and how it's improved, but now it's going to be eyes drawn elsewhere. Timeout to be called this time. BBL, usually you end up seeing those coming out during the eco rounds, and then it leads into the strategic chat about what you're going to do into the buy.
It's a bit of a to-and-throw approach here. For this one, I don't blame them. Obviously, now they're heading into a buy round. They've got more time to think about the status quo. Bit of disappointment there. The fact that they knew there was a potential with a Sheriff clutch is one of those that bring the emotions up for BBL. And they're in emotional of where BBL want to be at by the end of the half.
I mean, I think in their ideal world, they probably want to get 6-6. But.
True. That is fair. That is fair. Line them up good for that defense side, give them a bit of a cushion to work with. But for now, it looks like they'll have to be working from the down low. And let's see what they make use of these ultimates. Again, quite slow approach in mid from BBL, but they want to gain that control.
I do wonder if maybe a pacing change is what BBL needs to actually find some of the success. They've conditioned a lot of these slower default-esque plays, and they look to regroup, of course, into the mid-round for their actual hits, but it gives so much comfort to Heretics to know that they can kind of just play their own game and lie in wait.
Shout out to the observers catching the break of the trip, but Mini Boo's showstopper does fall short, and BBL instantly react to it. They're heading towards this B side, but I think Heretics are pretty quick on the charge as well.
I mean, Benji's been splitting up a lot of his utility as well across both these sites, right? Just to cover a little bit more of that ground, keep BBL guessing continuously as to where they do need to put that pressure on it.
Still a trip to be broken though. Oh, it's hard to find where that comes from. One's caught up and up against the smoke. No one's been able to shoot back from Heretics. They're playing it slow. They know that BBL could be anywhere. They could even have heavy control, and it's heavily respected.
I think you could have actually crouched under that trip with how high it was. Poised more in case it was a blast pack in situation, but there's also a showstopper available here for Kushner into the post.
Oh.
Popped early.
That's looking to buy time. Just going to hold on to it. Smart.
Both chokes covered.
Another one pops again. All he has to do is buy up the time, so there's now time trouble for Heretics. They've got to start moving in quickly. They don't have many flashes for it. The orbital strike is going to have to clear way for the team to start moving in. The poison cloud, the Viper's pit as well, just being so menacing that BBL just can hide within it. No problem at all. Still, it's somehow favoring Heretics now. Brave trying to have a crossfire with Power, and there's no time for Boo. He knows it, has to run away. The eyes of Heretics going to give away this one. BBL get themselves a second round on the board.
Nicely done. 2 ultimates expended, not too much needed there, and slowly closing that gap there for BBL. I think what they did really well was just kind of managing the fact that you have that Viper's Pit covering up towards Alley, then you're denying that time over towards B Tower with the showstopper coming in. It's curious. I mean, you're also looking at Heretics, and they're playing with the solo initiator here as well, right? You're looking towards Reens to be that initiator, and Sky no longer has that utility that refreshes. So that's a big trade-off when you're looking at the double flash.
Yeah.
on the side of BBL as well.
A lot of breakthrough utility on this BBL side. But let's be fair, we haven't seen it up until this point. Rolling Thunder drawing out. Rience gets away with his life. A pick, spike down, and in no man's land. Only just collected. BBL handed the site. Knocking on the door, no one's there. Heretics are going to look to join the party a little bit later.
I like this information search, though, from BBL over towards CT. Allows them that free screens control, put the pressure on Team Heretics.
Brave really close to the action. Anti-flash for easy. But Brave just walks even further forward. Smoke to give him the fallback. The spray is there. Always thinking about sticking around. Easy though, is good with it. The double spray down from Brave. Make it a triple as well. As Boo may be in trouble, and I think he knows it.
I mean, there's not much money left in the bank at this point. It's going to have to be a save in a 1v4 here for Boo, but very nicely done. Again, that shift in the tempo. They start off slow most rounds. Now they had that Rolling Thunder available. It allowed them to blitz on towards site, but more importantly, denying one of those lanes early on to Heretics, which again, I think comes back to Rience being that solo initiator, where they are now forced to use so much of that Sky util to just clear into screens alone and not even sight.
Yeah, and now Heretics plan. Read by BBL, good timeout, good read. Props to Element and Epic, of course, for drawing that out and making the team make the right choice, adapting on the fly. Good stuff. Maybe they can maintain it. Heretics, on the other hand, now have dropped a couple of rounds in a row. Their pockets are hurting. They gotta dig deep for this one.
Oh, definitely. Okay, but you heard the hype there. You talked about them being emotional, getting some of that energy up, which is what they really need to get the ball rolling here. Can't say too much about momentum because it's only really been 2 rounds realistically. Poised and ready for close contact. No one going to be there on the side of Heretics though, but they've got mid-control galore with that one away.
The stun could be a good one for them. Doesn't even come down to it. Good little spray down here from Kushina, expecting Paradex position, and now they go in again. Nice position there from Kushina, and he just keeps on giving. BBL just seizing control, demanding respect, and Heretics got to put their arms in the air and surrender.
Down to
1 enemy remaining.
2v5, make that a 1v5 here. Benji's only going to have the share.
Spike planted.
That's that confidence we were talking about, right? Instantly just feeling it. Benji Fishy won't allow him to have it for too soon. The young Brit doing a work on a couple of heads, but still maintaining some composure.
It's getting close now, though. Okay, 1 round, dividing these 2 teams. BBL, this is the confidence you just mentioned that we were looking to see from them, and this shift in pacing is difficult so far from what we've seen Team Heretics to work with. They really like having that time in the early round to look for some of that mid-control with their utility, push one of those lanes and see what's going on and deny that lurk over towards Elite, and BBL completely shift. Okay, what do we have in store though, BBL? Full 5 this time around over back towards this ace site. No Rolling Thunder this time around though. That one was just used recently. Are they going to move as quickly as we anticipate, though? Trip set up for the choke. Caught!
Oh, Benji Fishy!
Such a good stun.
Not quite there. Oh, he's still hiding. He's still being a ninja in his own smokes, in his own realm. And he's got his opponent's smoke to conceal himself within. But still, it's looking a little bit crazy here. Brave finding himself to the back of the line. Rience keeping things competitive. He's been strong today. He's been someone to put on the highlight reels, and he's the one to put Heretics still on top this round with Brave on the hot seat.
From the shadow, though, just hop over towards that B site, try and clear things out. You know, Heretics are going to stick together. It's the brother duo now here for Heretics in this 1v2. Brave. It's planted very safe here as well, so he's going to have to kind of creep around site when he's trying to isolate these 1v1s.
Yeah.
Nothing to really work with but 1 TP. Meanwhile, you look towards Boo, he's still got that paranoia.
Brave is one of those players that lived the pains of last year. BBL was bottom 8 ranking. Now wants to change it all around about with beating one of the favorites of this league. He's got the start good. 3 to his name, 1 remaining. The captain of Heretics touching the spike. Do you read this, Brave? Do you keep your composure here? Do you stay solid? Into the smoke he goes! And a Quadra Red Bull clutch to silence Heretics!
Beautifully played there by Brave to isolate that one. The immediate reposition with no hesitation. Now tied up 5-5. I think that if you were to look back and try and predict this game from the very beginning, you wouldn't expect BBL to necessarily be making this comeback so late on when we're looking towards Team Heretics. I think, okay, I had to pause my thought there because of the yelling on stage. I feel like we can't not acknowledge it and give them their moment in that sense, but
they were off camera and it kept on going.
just kept going. Couldn't even hear myself think, guys. No. I'm on 0 sleep right now. I need all the help I can get.
Well, if they can't make you think, maybe they can't allow Heretics to think. Maybe they're that loud. Maybe that's the plan.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Noise suppression.
Let me know if there's some sort of that ability at some point, if the name ever comes out. I mean, there is some sort of noise suppression, paranoia. Anyway, back into this round. Both teams, well, BBL's got a bye, Heretics not quite. They've got ultimate, so give them a kill or two, and it becomes doable. Up until that point, this is BBL's round.
Absolutely should be. Yeah, at worst case, you do have that showstopper to fall back on. And so they're not going to be walking into the traps of those close range weapons that we see hovering over towards that B site. It's a full retake protocol here on A.
Oh, Benji Fishy is struggling. Kushina is living in the Matrix, and he's got a giant rocket with Boo's name on it. It's looking clean. Mini Boo and Patty though, have turned it all around. Remember what we said, 2 kills and this is doable.
Left.
Orbital strike online with 30 seconds left. Spikes down front site.
Elite might find the back angle onto Patty Tech. Vandal does favor that positioning. Mini Boo left alone. His teammate's gone. Spike on the ground, missing the mark, giving away his position, and Elite somehow pulls out his gun out of nowhere and puts BBL in the lead.
Round
I think he just had the angle with the game physics to be able to manage that peak when Minibu's not actually able to spot him out now. 6-5. One chance here for Heretics to tie things up before we swap sides. They have the ultimates, though. They're the ones snowballing into this round compared to BBL, who expended quite a few in the last couple to manage to find themselves this momentum with 5 rounds in a row.
BBL are playing with belligerence. They're playing aggro. They're taking the fight to Heretics. And it's working out, let's be fair. Not many solutions to it. The change of pace is exactly what they needed. Boom, signing the alarms. He does have help, but the util from BBL is good enough for the first trade. Boo, wanting to stop the fight in the making, but BBL is having none of it.
No, the shift in gears. They're swapping site hits every other round or so, making it more difficult for Heretics to find that read.
And it's the last round. Heretics, when were you saving those ults for? You've got to use them now. A 2v4, let's see what they can do. Clearing out the back of the site, no one from BBL was there. Patty Tech first shots, good for it. Can he find any more? Damage? Done. But Elite is in charge today. 7-5, BBL lead the half after being down, I believe, 4 rounds.
Unexpected with the way we saw this map start out. Team Heretics look to outgame, outbrain BBL in the beginning of this initial half. Then you see BBL kind of taking charge, and they're like, no, we're not playing that game anymore. They're kind of aware of the fact that if they give that opportunity to Team Heretics to kind of workshop in that kind of sense, that they will outplay them with that map control, and they just had to bring the fight to them.
Yeah, not allowing Heretics to play their gameplay, play game style, not at all. And it's working like a charm for BBL, not a problem. I remember when I asked you what was a good scoreline for them. 6-6, you said, not expecting they'd get there. Now it's 5-7. How'd it do?
I cast a curse it in their favor.
Indeed, it seems like that. Still, change of sides. Heretics on attack. Let's see what you can do as you do control the tempo.
More like no sights, because no one can see a damn thing here in mid right now.
True.
Walking in.
Moving in as a unit.
Contact into mail.
One on the lookout. Looking away from the kiting light, but it pops late. Good stuff. Paint shells out. Miniboo's got to be careful of that one. Down to low. But there is another fight in the making over in Garage as Boo's trying to deal with that one. One shall drop on site for Heretics. And still Para getting a double. It's looking incredibly scrumptious from the BBL side, eating Heretics up for dinner. Pissed around goes to them. A grand start to the second half.
Just the immediate collapse on that mid control that Team Heretics were looking to find for themselves. And you're also looking, I know we talked a little bit about the compositional differences, but I think now especially, I mean, I think either way, to be honest, no matter what half it is, but you're looking towards that Sky in the Breach on the side of BBL being a great counter over towards the double controller on the likes of Team Heretics, where you've also swapped out of that Viper that no longer, you don't have smokes that are applying that decay. Like, you can very comfortably just walk through Brim smokes, flash out of them.
Yeah, for Heretics, you've got to be a little bit scared, right? They're a little bit too used to losing these days. And to be fair, the only win they've gotten in the past 5 matches is against Fnatic. I mean, let's be fair, some of the losses were against Sentinels, Paper X, KC, we get it. But they've also lost to Vitality. Not to say it was to their own fault. They played a decent game, but Vitality played a better one. Coming into this one and seeing results like this, now that's not what we expected.
No, but you also have to consider, compared to BBL, they currently have so much more footage on them.
Yeah.
Again, that contact depth towards Mail.
Bye-bye, Elite.
That one hurt.
It did. Right between the eyes. And now Heretics rethinking how they move about this one, because they've got numbers advantage. And let's be fair, there's only a couple of rifles for BBL. Get hold of one of them, and maybe we're looking at an upsetting game.
Well, the trouble here for BBL as well is the fact that they're running no Sentinel, right, with the double controller and double initiator. So they don't have that information. They have to dedicate bodies.
Breezy gets one. Not going to capitulate this one. Will stick around for a little longer, though. Paint shells do move him out of position. Still one on Heaven, though. Paddy Tech might find the right timing, but he distracts him for a little longer. BBL not going to stand to fall this time around. They will continue and won't lose any players apart from the initial one.
So patiently played there in that defensive round, knowing that they had the advantage. Anti-eco now here for Heretics. Nothing too much to look at here as far as that ultimate economy going into this round. Looking at more of a default play this time from Heretics, knowing that they have that ability to pressure across the map here on split. Again, with that lack of a Cypher on the side of BBL and trying to force some of those players to stick around when it might be happening elsewhere. What is this?
Hang on a bit. Kushner got a little bit too aggressive on that one. It does pay for it for his life. He knew they were on a bonus. They took a risk. Didn't work.
It was also a bit of a set play, right? You had actually the stun going out at the same time now. Though it does force that Trailblazer to be used much earlier to that mid-control.
Well, the Trailblazer did bark up close to the B site, but it looks like it barked up the wrong tree. Looking to take the sewers route. The vents route, apologies. Still, BBL going to play this a little bit slow, capitulating. Heretics on the other end. Just happy to stay with 2 players on extremities and the rest with full power in mid.
Breeze is now cleared out towards A main as well. Benji to take down Trailblazer. Presence shown here towards B Heaven. Spike, though, still waiting over towards market. Boo likely the one to pick it up for the team while they look to regroup here in mid. Brave is alone on an island here.
Oh, Paranoia, I think it missed its mark into the smoke, and that's 3 players looking directly at him. And that's 3 pairs of eyes as well. All of a sudden, BBL are in big boo-boo. What do you do with this one? Spike can go onto the site, and yeah, that means Heretics can find their way onto the scoreboard on the attacking side. That's how you get into the game, and they'll be happy to get in flawless in this one. All that remains is Elite, who's been having a scrumptious 2 weeks, having the best performance out of anyone in VCT.
I think just looking to get some of those exit frags again. Team Heretics, they're not the ones with money in the bank right now into the second half. But I mean, they took some gambles into this round. Doesn't pan out for them, but I think you made a great point. It's the bonus. They're trying to catch Heretics off guard, see what they can actually get away with in these rounds, and do a little bit of that limit testing here as well.
I don't blame Elite. Wanted to keep the stats up. He's gotten some fancy ones himself. Want to hear some of them? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes. He's gotten 260 ACS in the past 2 weeks. And 75 kills to 44 deaths. Now, that's not too bad for a Sentinel, and for a team that has been losing most of their games.
Yeah.
That's not too bad at all, is it?
I think you'd say better than not too bad, to be honest.
It's pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. So he's not going to go out without a fight. That's to be said in certainty. But now we're entering a round where both teams have a buy in them, and this is really important for BBL to get the momentum rolling to close out map number 1.
It's the important part. This is their map pick. We have to keep that in mind. They were kind of trying to play to the weaknesses of Heretics rather than their own strength, and it's working out for them so far.
Brave backing out of that one. Not so brave in that exchange. But again, Heretics are happy to spread out their love.
Keeping it slow. The difference, though, is now the BBL are on the defense. They don't get to control as much of that pacing here on Split, considering the composition that we see coming out of them as well. We have seen a bit of ebb and flow, some of that dynamic play with taking some space, but Team Heretics also like to play so quietly.
Yeah.
And a lot of those contact style plays, right, where you also aren't really given anything to work with as a defender.
Blinded.
At least there's information about whereabouts of attackers in mid. Dogs after Elite.
Trying to buy a bit of a distraction here, but actually Benji's not going to go for that lurk up towards A.
He's an option though if they need him. They're just clearing out fence. They want to keep players at bay, but you can already see the rotation coming in from Reezy. He's smart about this, and so is Elite. They're going to follow up on this B site hit soon enough, and they may be relevant quicker than Heretics have a chance to push through. Paranoia in. Kushner is good on the close distance against Miniboo, and he wants to mow the entirety of Heretics down. It's Kushner, the lawnmower, because his grass is clean.
10-6 here, BBL finding double digits off of the ace here. And we saw the hesitation, I think, on the side of Team Heretics on where they actually wanted to push the issue on this attacking round and taking full advantage of the off angle there on towards Raptors. And this is the momentum that they've needed, the emotional excitement that they've needed here to continue forward. We just saw Epic smile.
We saw Epic smile. A revelation. That's something new, and it's something I could get used to. It's beautiful, man. BBL suddenly have a chance, they believe, not only themselves, not only within them, their coaches, the fans as well. Wait a minute. Surely this is not a fluke. They're playing against one of the best teams this region has got this year.
Yeah, I mean, kickoff, it was that story of a lot of the rookies coming to light, these new teams. Teams that did poorly last year, turning that new leaf. But then the question at the end of the day was always, what was the depth in that? How far can they really take it? And what is the ceiling that they can hit? I think Heretics, they have so much to offer the team, and we have to consider that there are those pending changes coming to the roster. It could be something that is a chip on their shoulder into this matchup.
Kushner forced to back away from that fight. As Heretics moving towards this right-hand side. Initially there were 3 defenders, now down to 2. Although pretty decent angle for Reezy to hold. What if he's dealing with multiple players at the same time and Flash is flying right at him? Difficult task, and there's nowhere really to back down to. As there's drop to the site, he does have the reinforcements of power, but this Aftershock will have to put Miniboo in a different position. How does this one work? Oh, showstopper from Kushner, instantly shut down, but Power is doing wonder work, and Reezy still relevant, and still able to shut down Benji. Fishy Reezy is a gift that wants to be given time and time again on their feet. BBL 11-2 away from closing out map number 1.
Insane hold on that A site. It came down to 2 players, the 2 initiators on the side of BBL. The cavalry was coming, but it wasn't needed at the end of the day. Yeah. You're seeing the replay here as well. That's even with Kushner being shut down with the ultimate. So many bases just being covered. The Flash is sublime as far as zoning and isolating a lot of these fights with the help of the one-way that was actually thrown over towards A Heaven by the defenders themselves.
Really good stuff from BBL. I mean, one of the conversations
on the stage. And if he's able to find some sort of numbers advantage here for Heretics, popping that showstopper becomes even more likely to find that space, delay time, whatever it is in that situation. Great delay towards mid. Makes it so difficult for Heretics to scale up early. The one-ways have been doing wonders here as well. Gotta give Brave a pat on the back for that one. They found so much value denying a lot of these chokes for Heretics.
Power. Oh, he's a brick wall. Nothing's getting past him. Good stuff. He's throwing bricks right at Heretics.
I feel like they just look so snappy today.
Yeah. They're snapping crocodiles. Didn't know Turkey had crocodiles. They might do. I could be wrong.
We might have to fact check that one later, Pablo.
Yeah, not quite aware. Maybe have some alligators. Who knows? A zoo would. Either way. Locked up, caged up, BBL. Andalucia flawless. And one away from picking up split.
Map point here for BBL, and this hurts for Heretics. You're looking towards the fact that, sure, they have that opportunity to try and bring it over towards overtime. That is also 12 rounds in a row needed to do so. Snowball round incoming for them as well, at the very least. We also have a Rolling Thunder to work with into this round for a retake situation, or if it is like a full hit towards that A site eventually.
Right,
could even see that being pulled out here by Power to delay and make the fights a little bit more unfair.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the mental pressure that Heretics has in being able to close out the distance, but BBL also need to stay composed to close out this game. They haven't had in many positions to be ahead by this much against a team like Heretics. So they themselves need to cool down. Don't get overzealous. Kushina may be in trouble here as the showstopper's going directly for him. Miniboo is eager to back out of it though, as he may give it another chance. Paranoia has delayed it even further, and BBL defenses have gone to hide.
I mean, this utility cycling coming up from BBL, just denying B Heaven as an option completely. And I feel like we see this constantly into the mid-round here for Heretics. They're pushing the issue over towards B Heaven, then they have to make that pivot back.
Oh,
BBL,
no, this is smart. I mean, there's a reason Power got brought in. He's got big brains and looking to instate himself as one of the big brains in Turkey. But not going to be reading it this time around. Okay, Kushina to the other end of it. He's been good for a quadra kill last time he was there, maybe even an ace, but this time it's Brave called to action. Good for a dink on the second time around, but Heretics have garnered space control, which BBL have to respect.
Seeker's nice for information. You have this mid, like you mentioned here, for Benji Fishy.
What is this Rolling Thunder able to do? Benji Fishy on the look, and he's good to put Cora to rest, and so is the Rolling Thunder. Easy alone, they know where he is. And he's up against 3. This is a difficult task to try and close it out right here, right now, but he's got the balls to do it. Bullet to the head of Benji Fishy, 2 left, 8 bullets. You've got to read Mini Boo's position. You've got to be able to read Boo's position. And the Brother Boos will take this time's win, closing up the gap, not quite letting BBL shut this game down that easy.
No, but BBL are comfortable nonetheless. I mean, I know we said that they can't get too overzealous, too comfortable in the lead that they found for themselves, but at least financially, there's not too much more you could ask for. Meanwhile, Heretics are still on the back foot in that kind of regard. Every single round being so tight in those finances. Operator coming out for the first time here on Split as well. Reezy the one to pull that out over towards that A site. Nobody home this time here for Heretics.
Looks to me that Heretics are pretty quick to bounce on this one, but Brave won't let any bouncing commence. No,
it's just an attempt to walk through that one way, hoping that they had that timing, not really wanting to expend one of those guiding lights either now that, because they don't refresh. Event's completely cleared out, but it doesn't really mean much when BBL typically leave it empty other than the early round.
Yeah, Miniboo's been one of the reasons, though, for Heretics that they gained those site controls quickly, able to pull his team with them. Now they don't really have that as a tool.
Now he's the space taker for sure.
Cage triggered.
Oh, dear me. Good timing on the cage there. Otherwise, I believe Benji Fishy would be no more.
I do like that we're seeing Benji actually activating on this A flank and lurk, because this is something that Heretics haven't really worked with before. He's always regrouped with the team in mid.
Kushina, next player in trouble. Guiding Light will spawn out Elite's presence, but Power caught with his stun out in the skies. And now, the attention of Heretics is moving towards this A side. They've got to move a little bit quickly, though. Kushina's here to help out. Seeker's looking to stop it all from happening, but Reezy doubles up with the operator seemingly from thin air. And Rians is alone, faced up against a BBL that's about to take Heretics down. Who would have thought the Royals would be here to give the Rogues a fight? And that's exactly what happens here as the Royals of BBL shut down Heretics in map.
Going into map 2, it wasn't the same team Heretics that we're used to seeing up on that stage. And Hypoc mentioning the fact that Miniboo really is one of those win conditions here for Heretics. So consistently a pop-off player, right? Not seeing that same kind of value every single round in map 1.
Seems like BBL have the answer to this already before it even starts. Miniboo walks in to the Lion's Den and comes out of it without a head and without his life. BBL, they're in trouble because Patatek and Boo have turned it all around all of an instance. Para, though, has an opportunity to turn it around. That paranoia was excellent. Heretics turning it all back, upside down. Reezy, though. Now, this is what we want to see in his influence at the final mark, but that will not come to fruition. Heretics with first blood.
Pistol round in pocket here for Heretics. Started out the same way over on Split. They do look very comfortable in a lot of those pistol rounds, and then you head into round 2, and they look even better, right? But there's also a difference in the kind of tempo you can take. Sure, you have the dive potential coming out of the Raze, but Miniboo on the Neon is, I think he's probably one of the best Neons in Valorant right now.
He's one of the best, period. Mega fanboy here, just saying. But yeah, I think one of the instances that we need to look at is definitely the fight of Rians here. He's up against his other home countrymen, right? It's a matter of being proud to be the strongest Turkish player on the serve, and BBL have taken that right after him, right? They've taken it away. Definitely something to look at in this one. Good shot, Dark. Kushner is down low, but how much that will matter overall, we'll have to wait and see, because Heretics were already kind of favored this one. They've got themselves plenty of guns to work with.
Go, go, go!
Just kind of ebb and flowing right now, seeing how BBL look to handle the defense here in round 2. Everyone's stacked up over towards that B site. They have the retake camera, the information camera over at A, and just hoping that Heretics will fall into that trap, but it's not going to be the case this time around, so it'll be that full retake situation. And then you also have Miniboo still keeping that space over towards the mid side. Walks away, but Benji Fishy will be able to reclaim that at the end of the day to try and cut that off. But actually they're looking to play it a little bit safer. Benji, though, with only the Ghost in hand, can take a little bit more of that risk if he does want to cut off over towards mid.
Yeah, it's almost as if Heretics are knocking at the door and no one's replying, and they're continuously knocking, still no one replying, and eventually they just barge in. Yeah, no one's home. So they'll take over the A site. BBL, though, I mean, we've all seen this story before. They're going to hold back, save the guns. I just want to ask you another question here, Ash. What do we feel about this comp change here from BBL? Obviously, they kind of had a mirror comp, I do believe, with Heretics on this map. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, is it to catch Heretics off guard here, you reckon?
Yeah, they did have the mirror composition previously, swapping out that Sova for the Gecko there for Reezy, and you've also got the change in the duelist as well when you see Kushner pulling out that Raze. But I do also wonder if maybe it was a bit more of a question of comfort in that kind of regard, maybe leaning back towards something, instead of playing more into that Sunset kind of meta that we've seen coming through with some of those more blitz plays with Neons. And I mean, sure, we see Razes as well, but I think Kushner has always looked a lot more comfortable on the Raze versus the Neon pick.
Yeah, it does seem to be the case, right? It's for some players, it's going to be Neon. For some players, it's going to be Raze. But overall, it's a different approach. BBL is just seeing what has worked over in Masters, taking that approach of the Gecko. And so far, I mean, we haven't gotten to see too much of it. It's the pistol and the follow-up, but now there's guns. And now this becomes interesting because there are rifles on the Heretic side as well.
Kill all your opponents.
Scaling up for Patatek here as well. 3 away from the null commands to come through. Dizzy slows down this initial space that Heretics were looking to take. And to revisit over towards mid, you've got the trip top mid. Very standard look on that. Easily shot out. Adding that pressure. I like the smoke on the right side here as well, just to make it a lot more of a threat up against BBL and force them to actually fall off of A a little bit here as well.
Timing for Braid. But you're right, that smoke keeps Heretics, keeps BBL busy, as they have given up a lot of control, a lot of question marks on the map for them. Slow and steady. Heretics winning this bonus would be tremendous for them, not only for this match, this series. They've got to bring themselves back together. You've got to hope that Neilzinho had a good pep talk for the team to bring their morale up. And so far, Paddy Tech first blood, good entry. And now it spreads BBL's resources thin. That was a mid player, that was a setup player. But now Para's got a call from the grave.
Tough for an IGL. Deep trip here for the push for backside here on the legs of BBL, playing over towards Boba instead.
But again, BBL going to play this a little bit safe. Want to put all their chips together, go all in on this. BBL, let's see what kind of a hand you have. So far, leaving Miniboo close by, not really want to go on the cross against Market as the smoke does fade out. Oh, wanted to go with a push with the flash, but Kushner was there to read it in time. And that evens the scales out a bit. With all Heretics players playing it in one direction, they're looking to spray upon this as soon as they can, together with a fragment grenade. Some damage will be done, diffused halfway. This might be good enough here for BBL to get on the spike again. Now, where do you find the players spraying upon it, touching it, putting the wingman on it? But no one is going to be able to be in that line of fire. Heretics, they've gone for this try before, and they've gone for it so many times, and it's so hard to think that BBL can win against it this time. Great bonus from Heretics to get them 3 in a row.
I like the ideas coming out from BBL there. You had a deep smoke over towards B main, and you get paired with the paranoia that's actually going out close on that right side, and it's forcing, okay, if you're backing up, you're then behind the smoke, and everyone who's caught in it is isolated. But then BBL don't actually try and take that B main space. They're kind of just standing there, firing. But if you're going to do that kind of setup, you do actually have to pressure on in, or else it's spam galore as far as that post plant goes.
Back to ground zero for BBL. But it seems like Kushner's push works out like a charm. No access to the rifle zone. Very important for Heretics to at least keep them in charge. And with Boo's picking mid, still things are in control.
In control, but some Stinger gaming.
I have it spiked.
They do have to keep an eye on these rifles, though, I think is an important part. So far, just paying a lot of respect over towards that one way that was initially thrown, but the weapons are so deep that Heretics are aware that BBL do end up going for them. It's highly unlikely. Would be late into the round as well. I like the call from BBL, though, to look to group up here. Just kind of sync up over towards the A site. Again, play that retake. It's a retake cam on top of the choke.
Yeah, again, it's a risk for BBL, right? They've got to put all their chips together onto this A site, and it's for good reason. I know they're dealing up against guns, so the B site is the simple choice for Heretics. They're going to be moving into it without an issue.
The fact that they decide to sync up over at A as well, it does leave the option open if they do want to end up pushing over towards A main after they hear that spike is planted, and then cut over into mid and through market.
This way.
Shadows traveling.
And the play calms down for Heretics. As expected at the start, those 2 picks at the beginning, though, just shows the bravado that BBL has on them. Again, it's a tempo team, but, you know, winning 4 rounds in a row could be enough to take the wind out of your lungs. Make sure that they're no longer running on that fast-paced play.
Cage triggered.
Okay, one way triggered here.
Stealing sight.
Great paranoia, though.
The SMGs could do quite a bit. Boo nearly was in trouble. Had to run away from the mosh. Wingman no more. Elite gets a pick. How much do they have in store for us anymore? It's hard to spray when you've only got pistols, and especially when you line up. Wait, the defuse still going on. Miniboo's going to have to close up the gap, but he might not be there on time. He just is. Barely for the spike explosion to come in. No one survives that round, but Heretics pick it up.
4-0 start here for Heretics, and it came right down to the wire. I do want to see some changes coming out from BBL as we progress forward into this half, though. I want to see if they are stuck in those retake situations, especially over towards that B site. A bit more of that pressure over towards B main. Have a flank come through. Heretics are very comfortably playing back into the choke right now and just playing that post plant, and there isn't really much threat to it because the advantage is on their side in the post.
He believed, the coach of BBL Epic, he said, that's what my team has got. We've got to bring that winning energy and solve some issues on that defense side. And let's see now if they can do that on Sunset.
Towards this A hit.
Miniboo, stunned up, paralyzed, at least for a moment.
Brave stuck.
That Brave is in trouble here. Good to keep his life for a bit, but quickly exchanged. Still onto the side. BBL are so quick to rotate to this party, but Paddy Tech, wow, wants to go out with a bang. Not going to be subbed out that quickly. Wants to show why he should stick into VCT EMEA, getting 5 rounds straight out of the bat. Nothing for BBL yet.
The way that they are able to just pivot after that loss over on Split and just look so dominant now on Sunset. The firepower back here on the side of Team Heretics. Again, BBL, I mean, they've made adjustments. We've seen the ideas coming out from them. It's just missing, I feel like, a couple of pieces in a lot of those retakes as far as the last little bit, that last little leg that would actually help them find a bit more of that success.
Sounds like Benji Fishy learned a bit of Spanish while he was over in Madrid. Oh, Executioner! When he gets that showstopper, you know he's going to go full guns blazing in mid. Well, Rians does get a couple for his troubles. But yeah, that's the round, I feel. Here, Ash, right? This should be it.
It should be. I mean, I feel like when we do see those eco rounds coming through here for the side of BBL.
Cage trigger.
I think Elite's got a say in the matter.
Oh, hiding.
This Cage is so
Oh my
good.
goodness! Elite, you're disgusting, mate. And suddenly BBL have got a chance on an eco. I believe that's how the last map started, where the comeback began.
You asked me a question, basically told me to eat my words on stream here.
Oh no. I'm starting to panic here.
I mean, they're also walking into BBL, who've swapped now the Cypher setup over towards this A site here for Elite. Trips to give away the ruse.
Well,
Hoppable.
hoppable. Eases past though. No bunnies. We'll have to break it.
Gotta be quick.
That's an interesting dark cover.
30 seconds left.
I mean, it's deep.
Spike
It's just to
planted.
buy as much time as possible as they set up into this post plant. Force the respect. Breezy's got his whole kit to work with here, though.
And that will mean they'll have to use a wingman pretty early, so the Dizzy. And that's very vital utility for BBL on this retake. They've got to take these fights dry. Benji Fizzy to the other end. Elite's good for it. That Sheriff keeps on ripping heads off. And BBL find their way on the scoreboard in the second map of the match.
We started off this round, and you would expect it to come with, obviously, the Thrifty to end up here, but you would expect it to come with a bit of that criticism towards the fact that BBL consistently will throw Kushner out kind of on a Hail Mary on the early portion of those eco rounds, see what he can find, and it's okay, are you gonna keep doing that every single time? And Elite would be the one to absolutely save it. A player that you couldn't stop telling me enough about over in the green room as well.
I was like, this guy's nuts. This guy's doing pretty well. And all the BBL needed was winning mentality and a timeout. And a bit of voodoo. Yeah, it's a bit of a combination of things. Still, Kushner, he just wants to press W and mouse 1 to win the game.
But it's a 50-50 on if he's actually going to win the engagement. Doesn't have numbers to follow up for him either this time. A bit of a different story with the Thrash to try and regain that space.
Oh, a double-sided jet here. Two players hand in hand to face up against Brave. The one-sided smoke comes in on time to make Heretics move out. Benji Fish, he's gotten away with his life and he doesn't even know it.
I thought he was going to try a timing for in that
Right.
moment. I was like, are you really going to push the one way there?
Dirty you! For a second, yeah. We all believe the same. But still, two players for BBL on A, and it seems that's exactly where Heretics are going.
Cage
Did
trigger.
that spot 2 or 3 players? Still, it's a heavy concern for BBL for this right-hand side.
Drawing a bit of that utility out, though. 45 seconds to work with now. They silence themselves and look to rework back towards A main here. And Power does have that knife now down. There's a flash, but he is alone on an island with Reezy moving towards
30
spawn towards
seconds
that B
left.
site.
Power has got the power!
A.
2 kills before he drops, and instantly the attack for Heretics thwarted.
Okay, down 2. 2v3. We've seen Boo and Benji Fishy in this position previously. They find the same sort of
Spike
success. Playing over towards Generator this time.
Oh, I can imagine what the BBL watch party is looking at right now, looking at how they can take this on. It's been turned into a 3v2. Oh, but Benji Fishy and Boo have got a good crossfire. Wingman on the spike won't be able to do it, but Reezy sees through walls and sees through Benji Fishy's soul as he sends it to heaven.
Knowing that was his best opportunity to take the fight, not allow Benji Fishy to reposition into the post. Just doing it with so much time on the clock here as well. I like the adjustments. However, a lot of these rounds, I think, what's tough about them is how much they are coming down to some of these hero plays. The heroics coming out from individuals, finding multi-kills. Some kills that they shouldn't even be finding.
That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Let us hunt.
We weren't joking around when we said magic here.
I mean, I know you weren't.
No.
Yeah, you and Mitch.
Me and Mitch. It's hocus pokery. Ultimate to play for Heretics, though. This might be their chance to get right back in winning ways.
Null command to stop the entire thing, though, here for Power.
Oh, he will back out of it. Respecting. He boosts straight out onto the side. No one will be spraying towards them just yet. It's a matter of playing the game.
No! What?
Finds his way out into the open and gets denied the null command.
Missing the timing on the smoke.
Oh
Dropping
my
Elite.
goodness, Elite! 3 kills, and I can't even fathom how quick those came out. And Rians is left alone. A moment where 3 ultimates from the Heretics side could make all the difference. And BBL have a big answer to that, and that has 2 letters to it. No. Rians, what can you do? Turk, 1 Turk versus the 3, but of course the numbers will have it. BBL, again, right back on charge, looking to replicate what they did on Split.
A little bit of taunting there on stage as well. Some hand waves coming out for the team. All smiles, all banter.
Oh, and it's little mistakes like that, you know, that could have changed everything. But of course, Elite had to come out of nowhere.
First playing aim labs.
He's playing aim labs. I don't know Turkish, but pretty sure that wasn't hi friends.
So stoic as always, Epic. Mental, and go into the next round with a fresh look instead of feeling that pressure of, is it happening again?
Yeah, 100% heading into this one. Let's see if the tempo switches around here for Heretics. I don't think we've seen an explosive start to a round from them at all this game thus far. I wonder if it's going to be the eco to do it. Not quite. 2 detected on the right-hand side, even though there's 3 defending it.
You can also typically assume in that situation, Kushner is going to be there if you spotted Reezy. So expecting 3.
Para picks away with his life. And to kill to tell for it as well. Paralyzed, he's in trouble, but no, not really. Call the ambulance, but not for me. Kushner is right back into the party, bringing the champagne bottles. Benji Fishy alone. He's a strong on a clutch, but let's be realistic here. It's BBL right close to Heretics score.
Yeah, no space to play with there whatsoever for Benji. Ultimates racking up though here. Heretics do have, I believe, 2 until that null command comes online here for Patatek, but you've also got Kushner cycled onto another showstopper heading into this round. We've consistently seen it expended early off the contact of a Dizzy over towards A main. Presence is there this time. How much value does it get if it's popping it?
Scanning ahead.
Similar to the last round's approach, but this time with a bit more oomph.
Go, go, go.
Playing it a bit safer as well.
Maybe a little bit more speed.
Same pivot towards market.
Oh, yeah, Miniboo loses his life straight after his connection to the tripwire. That neural theft does its job to reveal the rest, so respected by BBL as they drop back. They've got ways to find their way back into the site when it comes to it.
Satchel out.
Also got Elite's been so dynamic.
So
Speaking
smart.
of which,
Not letting them settle down at all. Power might have been able to get away, but Rian somehow has got 10 HP on him, trying to face up against Elite here, but he doesn't stand a chance. Heretics might be losing the lead here, because there's 3 remaining on this attacking side. They've been good to hold this. Whenever they've had the situation, they've been winning, but they've always had some sort of a numbers advantage. But this is when Kushner starts to push forwards. Into the smoke, the wingman gets shut down as well. There's time trouble for BBL. Heretics might be able to save this. Elite slow on the spike. He gets stopped. Can't even be defused halfway. 2 versus 2. And the time is ticking so quickly at this point. Para has to move in for the fight. Brave is going to decide to stick it to spray down, but I believe he may not have the chance to defuse it. Boo with a triple kill. The 3v5 hold for Heretics stands.
They stop the bleeding for now, but you look towards BBL, and okay, sure, they have the last 4 rounds in a row. They've also never won a post plant on B. Like, we continuously see the same thing being done, util dumping towards B main, but really nothing is happening there. They're trying to zone out, but with very little pressure of pushing in. You swing through a smoke like solo.
I'm not quite sure what sort of breakthrough utility they had there, really, because it felt every time they had to confront them, it was whether it was behind the smoke or pushing it dry. Maybe they were limited in that way.
A bit more pressure, I think, on those flanks, an option that BBL hasn't really entertained in those posts.
Miniboo again, quite explosive into this one. And we said it before, we'll say it again. BBL yet to win a retake on B.
This time, though, Heretics, they're opting to maintain more of this backside control than previously.
Miniboo, ultra aggro. Kushina, though, puts him to rest. That's a really good camp.
That's so much.
And he hasn't pinged a single one. No one knows! But finally, finally Benji Fishy takes it down. But it's done quite a bit, because it puts BBL in a situation in the know.
It's a great trip.
And we'll block Elite for a little bit. Can they get onto the spike? Body blocking for now. Kushina into the fight. They know they have to contest this, and that they will. Finally learning from their wrongs and get themselves a 5th.
They use the mass as the number advantage to actually look to collapse, and it's a great adaptation coming out from BBL. Now 1 round here left into this half, and Heretics have nothing to work with.
That's an explosive one, to say the least. They knew exactly what they did wrong. Props to Power here to make the call, the switch in approach. And you got to say the coaches are a little bit happy about that one.
Some not. Just a little bit. We're warming up to it.
Too enthusiastic.
It does make you wonder, though, if BBL took more of that aggressive approach on B main, would they have had more rounds actually here in this first half?
That's the question that we'll have to have answered after this. It's all in hindsight after all. But again, pretty much nothing in the pockets of Heretics here. Stinger Shara, so it's bleak, it's weak. And BBL know of it, so they're just gonna take their time, wait for Heretics to approach, get the read in. And let's be fair, they haven't wasted too much utility either.
Not ready yet. Cover going out.
Timing on the refresh. Drone's actually not going to be contested, just fully tucking and backing off the angle. False sense of security.
Miniboo is going to walk in. Wouldn't it be funny if he ends up with a double? No. Brave would say it wouldn't be funny. And Thrash picks up one. Oh, both of them? Oh dear, that's going to delay Kushina here. But it's going to make simple workings of Rians. That's paint. Not to put Rians to sleep, not just yet. Lead is required for that. Not in liquid form, though. And Benji Fishy alone.
Emeralds left available, but a tall order.
Yeah, get it done and dusted with. Andalucia flawless, 6-6. BBL for a second time running the close the gap. This time not with the lead. Is that enough for the second half?
I mean, you look at the momentum. It's all on the side of BBL right now.
True. You start to wonder, is this BBL just playing extremely well? Is it also Heretics dropping the ball here? I mean, yes, the analyst desk did say there's some performance issues on some of their key players, Benji Fishy, Miniboo. Where are they? Why aren't they having that impact? But it feels like it's just one of those days where BBL's bullets just hit a little bit harder.
I think right now you're looking towards the scoreboard. You've got Miniboo down at 3 and 10 on an attacking half coming out from Team Heretics, which is not the same kind of performance that we expect coming out from him, right? Again, a win condition really being these young bloods popping off on the side of Team Heretics, having that firepower that we've been so used to seeing so far in Split 1 kickoff and Masters Madrid even though they were out early, they still were able to hit their shots. It's tough.
I mean, I bet they wish they were in Madrid right now, because it sounds from the crowd at least that only BBL has been shouted out thus far. Not that many Spanish fans out here today, but it seems like Kushina will be going aggressive off the rip. Greens, on the other hand, shock dart to do damage, not going to be shutting down the wingman just yet. I think we've seen this approach before, but it's with turned sides as it's Heretics now to re-aggress onto the site and take the space that was righteously theirs from the beginning. Spike not yet touched. How do Heretics play this? Do they try and spray upon them or go for the fight as they go? Only Paranoia available here from Boo. If he puts a good positioning on it, there may be a chance. Onto the Spike. They're trying to figure out what the setup looks like from BBL here. Smart, step-by-step approach. Oh, Miniboo's got him low, though. He hasn't gotten a chance to swing just yet, but it's Paddytech to do a lot of the work. They'll try to overwhelm them with numbers, but Elite shall not stand for a minute longer. Benji Fishy on the pistol will keep on ripping heads.
And off the gate, Team Heretics understand what they need to do about that B main post plant setup. They have to push in. They can't allow that free sight line for the spams through the smoke, even on pistols. Bullets can still connect, but this is a pistol round needed here for Heretics to, I mean, I know it was 6-6, but I think mentally find themselves back into the game and find that lead. Again, they are the ones that are down currently, one map. BBL sitting on the comfort, knowing that they'd be taken to a decider instead of having to do the taking to a decider.
Can this momentum be kept? Big questions.
Buying off the plant as well.
Oh, mid-approach. And he's caught up. That Dizzy was crucial. Paddytech not being able to see, can't deal with Kushina at that moment, but there might be a collapse here, and BBL know of it, so they avert their focus close to market. But it might have been a little bit too long, as Miniboo is pretty quick on his feet, especially on Neon. And BBL, excuse me, turned it right back in their favor. And it's the force to work out for them. But Benji Fishy won't let it be that easy. Spike onto the ground. Benji Fishy wants to carry on the momentum from the first round of this half. Breezy, what can you do here? 1v2, but cannot even find the first. Heretics back-to-back rounds, and it looks like they're here to stay.
Extensive for both sides, obviously more for BBL, but Heretics as well lost 3 weapons out of that. We're gonna see Miniboo, okay. I like actually seeing that he will be buying up to a Phantom. Tension on the stage right now. But it tells me a bit about, okay, the confidence that he's looking to regain into this, right? Knowing that, okay, I can still trust my aim to get the 2K there with the Guardian.
This is a nice spot.
Just being able to have that faith in himself here in this match.
Somebody's there.
Yeah, BBL moving as a collective here. A ball of sheriffs.
Over towards elbow. Phantom's waiting on one side. It's a bit of a trap.
So you know what bandits are called in Spanish, Los Bandidos, and Heretics are looking to stop them right where they stand, exactly like so, unless pistols can do something in return. Paddytech having none of it.
The Phantom to be recovered though here in towards elbow, picked up by Para.
What else can be picked up? At least still's got his pistol, but if you give him a gun, there might be another chance.
I do wonder if they try to revisit the orb here for Power being 2 away from that null command. But instead they need the timing over towards this B site.
Right.
Beating the fact that nobody's going to be there. Sure, you have the green light over towards Heretics with the tripwires. But otherwise, it will take them down early and then kind of reposition wherever you want. Leave Heretics guessing. And dash over.
I wonder if it would have been worth it for them to actually stay back to using your later. Anyway, potato, this is the case scenario. No flashes, only a couple of shock darts and recon for Rians to move in, but Power wants to take the fight head on, hasn't been spotted by the recon. Benji Fishy is able to put him to rest, and Elite alone. It's a sheriff, it's a rough one, it's a difficult one. What have you got in store for us here?
That was the risky gamble because sure you have the cam on there, but that was the Phantom down.
They don't quite know where he is, but at least Paddytech is looking in that direction. Elite no more, and Heretics are able to find another.
You would have expected maybe more of that kind of position coming out from the pistol player, as aside from the rifle, to be a bit stronger into that post plant, but disconnected. I know that they did have to go and fight forward there, try and isolate something, but Heretics are a team that will continuously stick together into those retake situations. They don't leave that option open to take those ones.
No, that's fair. I mean, especially when they've got the numbers advantage, might as well keep those numbers together. Get yourselves that trade value at the end of the day. But of course, buy around for BBL again. And it took them a while, the first half, to get going. Now on attack, it may need again. Is this the moment they come back?
See flash.
Oh. That's quite
Oh wait, timing
easy
though.
by Brave, going directly in for the fight. He's got to deal against two. He gets Paddytech out before he loses his own life. Miniboo though goes berserk. Wants to go in for the fight, but Elite handles him before he drops. This is chaos. There's fights all over the board, but BBL knew the plan was the A site all along.
Took me a beat to digest what was actually happening in mid there. It was such a fast push out towards B main. 3v3 onto the retake here, looking at this utility right now.
It's actually really important that the camera is still there for Benji Fishy. He's realized where all the players are. They're not on that side of the site, but they know the potential of Kushner being here, which they've already pinged out. And Kushner now is in trouble, but he's also got the assistance of Para and Reezy if it's required, but it goes untraded. Reezy will be dropping Mosh Pit. 46 points of health on him, so he won't be able to survive a trade. It means that Para is left all to himself to fend against Boo, who's still sticking the defuse. 3 bullets, and they are enough to clutch up the round for BBL.
A Red Bull clutch coming in here for BBL. Time ticking down into that post plant here. Heretics, they found the momentum into this second half. BBL to stop the bleeding. Look at these replays here as well.
Last player standing.
I mean, let's be fair, this is a new BBL. This is completely different. Yeah, okay, there are some aspects of the previous playstyle, some mistakes that they still do repeat, yes. We're not too far away from that, but BBL is showing a different image. This is not the BBL we knew, where they were bottom of the scoreboard in the EMEA. This is a BBL that can shoot back. They've shown it against Koi, and somehow they're showing it against Heretics. Yes, folks, you're tuning in at a moment where BBL have got a map over Heretics and are challenging the first 3 consecutive that Heretics have gotten on the second half, forcing them to an eco and potentially another equalization. It's insane. You can pinch yourselves. I know you can feel pain here. You're not dreaming.
That's how close each round has been since we've swapped sides. Trying to break that initial trip over towards B main, but it's not going to be one. Instead, it's a double trip setup over in Market, expecting again that heavy mid presence coming out from BBL instead. Look to run over towards that A site, but with the 0 point having scanned nothing from Paddytech, Heretics have the read. They lean over towards A.
There might be the best they could possibly have at this point. Have the stars really aligned? Miniboo not spotted by their death.
Monster on the
Good stun to keep them at bay. The Thrash is going to cause chaos and panic. Who will it find? Oh, there's a couple of players, maybe even 3. And Miniboo isn't there to save his teammate's life. Not this time. Kushner is on the case and hitting well, where Boo has to leave the case, leave the site. Maybe find some kills with a judge. You'll know you're going for rifles the next time around. But BBL are looking different. They're looking strong. And no one messes with Turkey, that's for sure. Not after this. Can't underestimate a single team in this league.
It's getting kind of scary here, Pavlos. I think, again, you have to remember that this is... Paddytech's putting on a show. I feel like he has been such a solid initiator support on the side of Team Heretics, like the entirety of this season so far. But again, this is his last game, his last time on stage under Heretics. And then you've got the idea that, okay, Woot coming in, they're going to have to work on some things. So then when do they begin that upwards climb again?
Yeah, it looks like they've found a downturn before they actually have the issue of having to replace one of their key players.
Maybe even the mental pressure of that alone at the back of their minds.
Maybe they've been training with Root, believing that this should be a simple game, and Paddytech is not quite aligned with them. Who knows? It's a tough call to make, but BBL are taking full advantage of it right now, and Kushner aggressing, looking to catch Paddytech off guard. Miniboo there to try and close it all down, but not giving a chance to do so. Boo, ultra aggressing in this one. He wants to lead from the front, and looks to back out from the shadows to allow BBL to take this A site.
Full sync backup here for Heretics. Tapping that spike just in case. They're not 100% sure on Boo's positioning, but the neural theft to come out here for Benji Fishy.
Vital neural theft. This allows them so much time to close in on their opponents. The second tick just shows exactly where they lie. Brave does TP, but then again, where exactly has he gone? That's the question mark now for Heretics. Not much utility left for them, not much aggressive utility that is. And Brave, good for the first trade. The rest of them can just be thorns. Just hide away at this point. And Heretics don't have the confidence to go in for the fight, go in for the brawl. They've given this away. And BBL will be finding the equalizer. That is insane.
They got disconnected in that 3v3. You have Boo trying to put on the pressure from Ali on the A site and expecting his two teammates in Reens and Benji Fishy to be able to actually push in through short, but so much respect given to the dark cover, not wanting to swing through dry. But then you're also leaving your IGL dry on the other side. Okay. Getting some vibes in the arena here.
Goddamn.
On stage. Their nerf, is it a brother buff? And it looked that way with a different kind of attitude, right?
Yeah. But you're right, everybody speaks so highly of each other in Heretics. It's a family already. There's definitely a sense to that, but for some reason this family isn't clicking. It's facing some problems and perhaps may need counseling after this match with BBL if they do end up losing it. Even if they don't, it's already been quite catastrophic, be certain of that. But already it looks like BBL have their sights on this B site, and Heretics have got a good setup for that. They've got some guns for it and they've got presence, but BBL somehow want none of that.
I also want to, like, Boo is on the other side of the map right now, jiggle peeking with a bucket.
Not quite the distance for it, is it?
I mean, mostly looking for information, though.
Yeah.
He'll tuck back in and try and bait them in into the shotgun, but one way to be thrown out. Heretics having the read. That lack of presence towards that B side. You're seeing the rotations being pulled, but again, the weapons disadvantage here.
Yeah, they expended into 2 rifles as well. It's kind of a half-assed approach. But Kushina's opener does kind of give them a full leeway onto this A site. Carpet rolled out in front of them.
Just one is being taken here by Heretics.
30 seconds left.
Lacking that same kind of synergy and coordination we've seen in the past.
Take this! Coming through! Go, go, go!
What can you do here? You haven't been able to do much with the rifles. Will the sheriff be it? Not this time around, not when Elite is there on the case. Triple for Kushina this round, and BBL have found the lead.
I think BBL also are just shooting back so well right now. Like, they are on point with their shots. Heretics, I know we're talking a lot about Mini Boo, the score line currently as far as that KDA goes, but you also consider the fact that he is still doing his job on the Neon, making that space, and his team is able to capitalize off of it. It's just not the same multi-kills that we usually have seen in the past off that kind of entry, but the rest of the team on Heretics, they are doing well to try and maintain that, try and balance that out.
That's true.
And pick up some of that weight, that responsibility, the fragging power.
But it's quite a lot of momentum that BBL have picked up. I don't think they've lost a round since their initial one in this half. So they've been going for quite a streak. I believe that's 4 consecutive. Kushina going full guns blazing. Finally, Mini Boo wins a crucial fight, and so does Rians. So at least traded, and Benji Fishy is there to reaffirm their control over market, their control over this game, because they keep things steady.
I mean, Benji has been, I think, the unsung hero here on the side of Team Heretics with the way he's been able to bring back a lot of these rounds. Now, tying this up 10-10.
I mean, let's be fair, his snapping ability is out of this world, Benji Fishy, right? He's been so clean with these gun trades. Not only today, but generally throughout the season, since the start of the year, he's shown up big time. And it's got to be daunting to play up against him, right? It's one of those situations, oh, Benji Fishy's playing that, let's go the other way, right? No. It's got to be daunting.
When he's on fire, it's like, okay, you just don't even want to see what site he's set up on. But both the Cyphers, I think, on defense were quite dynamic with they were setting up their trips and whatnot and switching things out, keeping the attackers guessing on either team.
They found my wire.
Ultra broken towards the main. I love that cage being thrown down to deny the one-way.
How far is Kushina willing to go with the showstopper? Hunter Fury straight away, though. Heretics don't really want to allow BBL to get into the site clean enough. They found only one tag onto one of these players. The spike finally being touched down. Damage, but only just some splash damage. Not enough to be of any substance. But this crossfire is actually going to be pretty darn good. The Neon approach is also a right idea, but they're moving right into Kushina's realm, where he will be completely demanding supremacy over them.
One enemy remaining.
Keeping it going,
Last
drawing
player
out the
standing.
classic, but it's down to a duel. Elite swings out, and Boo shall drop. 11 to 10, BBL back on top.
At this point, Kushner's got to change his name from Kushner X to Kushner W, because that's all he's been doing this game. It happened on Splits, happening again on Sunset. I feel like he's always pressing go, and because he's online right now, it's working.
Their energy is contagious. Their tempo is unmatched. Heretics seem to be silenced. And oh my god, this has got to be really tough to face up against.
Flashbang.
They've got resources, they've been on this rodeo before, but this mental challenge is something they'll have to overcome, given this is a situation they'll have to struggle with to make to playoffs. Spoo gets caught out in no man's land, and Kushina just opens up this A site single-handedly. Paddytech wanting to give him another fight outside of the smoke, but 1-for-1 will not do. Numbers favor BBL as Rians looks for the next fight. Again, this is Turkish pride for Rians right now. This is a different fight of a different level. So if he's able to save the day for his team right here, right now, he'll take that opportunity and take the full mile. Elite on the side, weaving in and out of battle with finesse that Heretics haven't seen in a while. One away from putting Heretics to the bottom of their group.
I don't think anyone expected this to be a potential 2-0 for the side of BBL. If anything, going the distance to a 2-1, but I think, again, Heretics, we have to remember, they were the favorites going into this matchup, and BBL seemed to be bringing themselves up, showing the change they've been slowly working on since the beginning of the season. Starting things off with that 2-0 against Koi the other week. Koi definitely not the same thing as Heretics, though,
No.
and I think that tells you a lot.
Absolutely not. I mean, everybody thought, okay, we're talking about the two bottom feeders here, Koi BBL, but this is a completely different story, and Kushina wants to prove it as such. Finally, finding his mark with a showstopper. So far, it's only been an initiating tool, but now it's a killing tool. Benji Fishy, though, into the action, hasn't been caught, and will not go punished just yet, at least. 3 versus 3, and BBL have got great tools for this. Neural Theft will be dropped straight out of the rip. Wingman heading in Ria's direction, and Elite is keeping that gun handy. Back into Like Pora, giving BBL numbers advantage, and this surely should be the end of Heretics. Surely this is BBL showing supremacy and winning their match against